Hello, and welcome back to our special book talk series about the International Dublin Writers Festival. For those of you joining for the first time, I'm Sabrina, and I'll be hosting this mini-series and giving you a sneak peek into the festival events we have lined up for September. Today, I am so excited to introduce Yvonne Reddin. So, welcome and thank you so much for being here today. For our audience, Yvonne is one of our special guest speakers at the festival this year, and she's going to share a little bit about herself and the projects that she's going to speak about at the festival. So, Yvonne, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? So, like where you're from, a little bit about what you do, and I know this isn't a very fair question, but what your favorite book is and why?
Oh, that's so hard to
I
pick.
know you could also tell me something that you're reading at the moment that you're really loving. Because I know sometimes, like, if you ask me what my favorite book is, I'll be like, nope, wrong question.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's go back to the first question. First and foremost, I'm a mom of three children and I'm a single mom. I do it all on my own, have been for the last 20 years, 21 years. I've twins and I've an older boy as well. So my career has been like a bit of a squiggle because of having children along the way. Things have to stop and you have to wait. And I waited for nearly 20 years to really begin my writing career. And in 2020, I started my own business, which is content creation, copywriting, freelance writing. I have a journalist background. But while I was at home with the children, I studied and I found I loved education. I think education gives you power and you all the things you do back then that you don't realize it kind of it's putting it all in place for now. So I have all these skills now that I have, which is brilliant. So in 2020 I started my own business, as I said, and I had to network, build up that connection base and database of connections. So everyone was at home because of COVID, of course. So I started connecting with people and I felt I need to offer them something for them to come and chat with me. And I used my journalist skills and I designed a profile piece about their business. And it was like a 5-question format that I sent to 38 people in the end. And about their business, what they learned, how they had to pivot in the pandemic, and also did they learn any nice from people that they met along the way, what was takeaway points for them and quotes that they still live by, all important things.
Mhm.
So I had all these interviews and then I had to do a website. I had to get all that designed. But I used the time at home, like a lot of people, to kind of build my business. And I popped all these interviews up on my website. And I called the piece Talk, Learn, Connect
Mm.
because it was about talking, learning, and connecting with people. And that's where my Talk, Learn, Connect book came from as well, because I did last year, I decided to self-publish all these interviews and share them with a global audience. And because they were just sitting on my website, so I needed to share them. And that's where my book came from, Talk, Learn, Connect. And it's interviews with leaders in business, community, and the arts. So there's a range of interviews in there, combining different people, different industries, something there for everybody. And it was a real passion for me. And I decided to self-publish my book
Mhm.
because from talking to people that I had interviewed for my podcast, I have a writer's podcast I created as well.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, I know. I just tried everything. I had all these ideas in my head. It was like an explosion for me when I started in 2020. But I needed to connect with writers and with people in that industry. And I just felt, well, why don't I create my own podcast? And I
Mhm.
did. And it's called The Writer's Mindset. And I interviewed a huge range of people. And the power of Zoom, Sabrina, as you know, you can do it internationally. So there's international guests there as well, writers. And there's such a range there. I learned so much. And I hadn't published my book then. And I think from talking to other people who published their book, I really needed to go through that experience. So
Yeah.
that's why I kind of decided I need to self-publish a book. That was the real kind of push for me to do it. I did always want to write a book, and I do. I want to write a memoir. I have a children's book that I've
Mhm.
in a drawer, in a manuscript in a drawer that needs to be looked at again. So this was my first book. It wasn't the one I intended, but it's been a great learning curve for me. And this is what I'll be sharing at the festival about my journey from how I did that and what I learned along the way and the marketing side to it, the promotion, how you do all that.
Gosh, well, that sounds awesome. And I feel like there's so many people who can learn
Yeah.
from your experiences
Yeah.
about through self-publishing. And then I feel like starting a business up during COVID and even
Mm,
like in post-COVID world,
yeah.
that's such a like
There's a lot
strange isn't
there.
even the
Yeah.
word. Strange doesn't even cover it. Like challenge it. There's no, it's it's a whole different ball game
And there
now.
was lots of challenges, so it is good to share what you learn because it helps other people. And I got so much help along the way. So you kind of pay it forward, don't you? It's the only way.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I mean, this is actually a good like segue into one of my next questions for you, which was like, were there any books or, people who you got guidance from, authors, marketing experts who kind of helped you in your journey, or gave you like inspiration for how you were going to handle
Yes, sure. I had to start from scratch. So
oh
I had
gosh.
never done any promotion, any marketing, or didn't even know what marketing that word meant really. So my friend that guided me, she's a business entrepreneur, she's a visionary consultant, and that's
Mhm.
exactly what she did. She knew what I needed to do. She had that vision. So I sat down with her and I said, "Look, this is what I want to do. Where do I need to start?" And she guided me. LinkedIn is the biggest platform I have used for marketing. And I think it's very underutilized in that regard for writers that they're not on it. And I think they should be. So I will be promoting that and guiding people there as well to set up a LinkedIn account. There's a whole world there and it's incredible. And it's really helped me and my business. She guided me a lot. Her name is Wendy Stunt. She's business entrepreneur, and another guy who is digital and marketing specialist, Alan Hennessy. He's the digital mentor, and he has his website Compass Media. I got training from both of them, and I had hours of Zoom. They showed me how to do Canva. They showed me how to do my posts. They showed me how to work LinkedIn. So I
Mhm.
needed the training. I picked it up quick because I love it. Once I'm shown what to do, I can pick it up pretty quick. But you do need training, you need to go to the experts. You
Oh,
can't do it all
absolutely.
on your own. And I've learned that the hard way. You cannot do it on your own. And that's the trick. And why should you? Why should you go through all that headache and challenge when you don't need to? I think for people with a book, I think squirrel away some money for the marketing that's going to come down the line when you finish, when you're ready to promote your book, because you need a couple of €1,000 when you're finished to promote and market your book, and that's really the biggest part of selling your book is when it's ready. Getting it done and getting it published and printed is the easy part, really, Sabrina. It's the next stage of sharing it with the world and where it needs to be and all that side. So that was a big learning curve for me, but I learned and I listened and I took it all in like a sponge and I loved it. And I really found my calling for PR and marketing and promotion. And I use them skills now with my clients. I help
Mhm.
them with their PR from what I've learned and the connections I built along the way as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm.
I was looking at your website before we talked, and I was actually your website is so cool. And I found, I guess this isn't 100% to do with PR, but maybe it is. And I just wanted to hear more about it. I saw that you have this thing called the Story Angel.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could tell me a little
Yeah,
bit about that.
yeah, because I do a bit of I do ghost writing as well.
Mhm.
And ghost writing in terms of books and in terms of social media posts. People do these lovely posts on their social media platforms, but they might not necessarily be written by them. So
Mhm.
that's where someone like me can come in and help them structure their posts and make sure they have the right hashtags, the tags, all that. So the ghost writing is part of the Story Angel.
Mhm.
My whole passion is people's stories. And I think ordinary people have extraordinary stories, Sabrina. And I try and find them people. And there's a lot of them in my book. Every one of them is extraordinary. And I try and find them from listening to the radio, from people I meet. And then I'll go in a bit deeper and interview them and try and pull their story out somehow if they want to. And I found that the Story Angel is a memoir book service that I offer to people who want to write their book, who want to tell their story and don't know where to start. And if they don't even know how to write it, I can help them do all that because I've proofreading skills, grammar, I've all them journalistic skills, interviewing skills that they'll need to get the book ready for the next stage, which is the editing, design, formatting. So I help with the whole process. And that's where the Story Angel came in. And that's a package I have up there on my website for people if they want to start. Everyone has a story, don't they, Sabrina? Everyone
Oh,
has a story.
absolutely.
But not everyone wants to share it, or not everyone is comfortable. And you don't have to share everything. You can share whatever you want to share. And it might just be for your personal, for your family. It's not something that needs to be on Amazon. It might be just a book that you want to leave for your family, for your kids, for your grandchildren, to tell them about your life, a personal kind of memoir. So it depends on what you really want from it. But the package is there, the prices, it's all transparent there on my website. If anyone wants to look into that and chat to me about that, they can do so. Email me.
Yeah. No, I thought that was so cool when I
Yeah,
was looking through it because I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Like every single person has a story. Like I think about this every time I
yeah,
literally pass someone on the street. I'm like, I
yeah,
wonder who you are,
mm,
not like what you do. Maybe that's part of it, but I
yeah,
wonder like who you are to your core. And
exactly.
but people don't know where to start in terms of sharing.
Or maybe they don't know how to write it, or
Yeah.
maybe they can talk better, and I can do interviews on Zoom and I can transcribe it all from the Zoom recording. So I can do all the horrible work. They just need to tell me the story. So that's what I offer with this package. Or other people can be great at writing. I can send them prompts for questions about their life and they can fill it all in, and I'll put it all together in a manuscript, and then they'll start to see it all unfolding, and that's, it's as simple as that. There's lots of different ways people can do it. They can send me recordings and I can transcribe them from that. So there's a few different avenues depending on what people are comfortable with.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's awesome. And oh, speaking of manuscripts, are you working on any like new projects right now? Or is there another Talk Learn Connect coming out or anything that we should be looking for down
Not,
the line?
not at the moment, but I would love to do a series on different topics for a book series, say like on adoption, people's stories on adoption,
Mm,
Alzheimer's, being a single mom, the struggles of that. Um, Lots of different miscarriage, the taboo subjects that people don't really talk about here in Ireland,
yeah.
and I think if they share them through an interview style, like my Talk Line Connectors interviews, I think it can be done that way if they will trust me with their stories and the interview. So I'd love to do that down the line, but it's not there yet. The idea is there. I'm writing a lot for the papers over here in Ireland at the minute.
Mhm.
So that's keeping me busy, and I love that because it's human interest stories. And I love finding them stories that people don't find. If I'm interested in something, I know there's an audience out there that will be the same. So I'm really enjoying all that at the minute, sourcing these stories and writing about them for the newspapers. So that's been a brilliant way part of what's happened along my journey too.
Mhm.
Um, getting that recognition with the journalism skills that I have, and I love it.
How do you find the people for these like human interest stories? Do you just kind of walk
Yeah.
into a shop and say, "Hey, like, what's
No,
the
I
story?"
do you know
Or
where I found a lot. I found a lot of them on the radio shows, people being interviewed on the radio. And the way it's kind of a short piece on the radio, you've got by 10 minutes. And I'm like, if somebody stops me in my tracks, which they did a few times when I'm listening on the radio, I'm like, I want to know more about this person. And
Mhm.
I got in touch with them, I emailed them, they've come back, and I've been very lucky that people have said yes, they want to explore it a bit more. And I offer it as a piece of marketing for them. So it's really, they're getting a bit of marketing content as well, aren't they? From somebody
Yeah.
professional like me, knows what they're doing. So I've been very lucky, and people I've met just out for coffee or out and about just on holidays, people that you sit beside, you just never know who's sitting beside you, even on the bus,
Yeah.
you know? And I've just been very lucky that and maybe I've read something somewhere online and I'm like, okay, I need to find out more about this person. And it's really true that way, in person. And just coming across people online. I think people are brought to you somehow. I do believe in that manifestation, and people come to you for a reason, don't they? So it's
Yeah,
easy to find stories. There's stories everywhere.
it's true.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I think those are all the questions that I have for you right now, but I'm so excited to hear your talk in September. I'm like so excited to hear all your tips for,
Marketing.
self-publishing and marketing,
Yeah.
and especially LinkedIn. I feel like I agree with you
Yeah.
totally. LinkedIn is such a underutilized
Yeah.
like tool, I guess. And I feel like I'm always pushing my friends to get LinkedIn. They're like, "No, why?"
It's incredible, and you can really use it. If once you get the train, you can get a bit of training for it, and you will use it well. And you've got free advertising space up there in your banner there. You can change that. If you have a new book coming out, you can put that up there. I had a book launch in February, and that's a really big thing for self-published writers. Have a book launch. It's the way to make money, and it's the way to get noticed. But I'll be sharing all these tips at the festival about what worked for me and what didn't work for me,
Mm.
which is important to you learn by what didn't work as well.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, I think we're all looking forward to hearing your whole talk.
great.
So again, thank you so much for being here today.
You're
I've really
welcome.
enjoyed talking to you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Sabrina.
All right, thank you so much. Bye. Have a great rest of your day.
And you too. Thank you.
So that's all the time we have for today, folks. But if you're interested in attending the International Dublin Writers Festival, it will be running from September 15th to the 17th at the Academy Plaza Hotel in Dublin. If you can't attend in person but still want to listen in and learn, we have online sessions available. So please go to internationaldublinwritersfestival.com for more information. And tune in next time for a chat with Jane Buckley. Bye for now.